The real reason why mortgage brokers stay stuck and they don't grow. So I'm speaking to those who are mortgage brokers. It could be a financial professional. You could also be a real estate agent. Maybe you took some education, university, college, and you went on to, you thought, I'm going to go into the financial industry or something related to finance because it paid well and maybe there's some benefit. So bear with me here for a second. I've got Sua Truong here. He is the founder of Commercial Financing Mastery, and my name is Desmond Soon. I'm the co-founder. And together, we have mentored and trained over 300 students who are financial professionals, but mainly in the commercial financing space. And this is something that we have noticed very, very prevalently in this industry. And that is this, that many of us in this industry operate as solopreneurs. True, not true. And what happens
Yep.
is, right? So when a lot of us, the industry is inherently designed to not foster teamwork in a sense. It's very isolated. So Sua asked me to just quickly share a bit of my experience before we jumped on here about when I built together with one of our mutual mentors $100 million company. And it's something that most people in our industry have never even heard of. Have you ever heard of the organization named EO, Entrepreneurs Organization? Probably
No,
not,
before you. No.
right? I think most people who are mortgage brokers, bankers, financial, if you worked in corporate, if you're employed, you probably wouldn't hear about organizations such as EO or even at the higher level than that, YPO, which stands for Young Presidents Organization. And why would you? It's not your fault. You're not an entrepreneur in that sense of building a business and being the CEO of a company and needing to communicate with other CEOs. But that's where the mistake lies. You see, these are not just networking groups, these are high level peer to peer groups. And these are some of the greatest minds in the world. They actually produce the highest GDPs for countries and organizations out there. And one of the reasons why so many mortgage brokers or financial professionals, we reach a plateau, a ceiling after a certain number of years, and we can't seem to break through that is because what got us there will not get us to the next level. What got us here will not get you there, as they say, right? And so most mortgage brokers, realtors, financial professionals, we operate alone. True or not true? And we have.
Yeah, yeah, but this is the reason why too, Desmond. Sorry,
Mhm. Yeah, go ahead.
interject. Is that it's the scary part of all of this is that we don't know because we're making good money, right? So we don't know we're stuck. We're completely stuck, but yet not know that we're in the mud,
Yeah.
right? Mentally, we're not getting any better,
It,
and
it was
that's why
good.
it's good that you're sharing this about the YP and EO because people need to know how you got to where you're today, and myself as well. How we able to level up and got out of ourselves, right? We're not always inside and stuck, right?
And I did
Solopreneurs.
not notice. I didn't even notice until I was introduced to this by being around CEOs that made, multiple seven figures, eight
Multiple.
figures, nine figures. And it was a whole different world because they actually they invested the time to make sure that their network, the people that were around them, the people that held them accountable were at a higher level. So let me share some numbers with you really quickly. And I want to pass the mic over here to Sua, and he's going to share with you his experience and why so many of us are stuck. And he's going to give you the formula of how to get unstuck so that you can be more fulfilled, make more money, go to high levels, and be in that top 1 to 2% of the industry, maybe even more, 3, 4. And our goal is to expand that number. Okay. So EO, Entrepreneurial Organization, has over 18,000 members all around the world in 70 plus countries.
Oh,
YPO has over 30,000 members in over 140 countries. Okay. Now, these are not normal founders and entrepreneurs that want to set up a side hustle. These are entrepreneurs at the EO level. You had to be making $1 million in gross revenues, and you had to submit your financials to prove that you had an organization that did that. So EO is kind of like the baby brother, and then YPO, you had to prove that you were generating over 10 million. So I just want you to pause for a second and just think, what kind of individuals run an organization that is generating 10 million or more? See, these are not beginners. These are people that are already winning and they choose to not be alone. Key point here. They choose not to be alone. And I was part of EO, and my mentor was part of YPO, and we were able to build together $100 million company. And I can tell you that the environment changes everything. Sua talks about this in the cohorts when we train other members, and we put on these cohorts to train, commercial financing professionals. And we talk about the team and the people that we surround us. Every month, in EO or YPO, we would sit in a room with other high-level operators, right? We would share real numbers. Everyone had to bring their assignments. They had to show what they were achieving, what they were doing, what problems they were getting stuck with, and how we did the problem solving and the decision-making process. And we all fed off each other like a mastermind. There's no fluff. There was no ego, just like truth.
Get to the point. Yeah. Level up time.
Exactly. And many of us are all very busy individuals. We don't have much time, so we're there to really make things work, right? There was collaboration. So it's not your typical networking event. And what you realize very quickly is this, you're not stuck because you're not working hard. I think all of you, anyone that's watching this video, you're a very hardworking individual. That's why you reach the level that you're at. There's a famous book, Good to Great, but good is the enemy of great. I don't know if you guys ever realize that. Now, if you're feeling that, let us know in the comments below. If you're feeling that you want to get to great, but you've been you've been good and you don't want to rock the boat. So Sua, why don't you share with me, you've been doing this for 30 years. What have you seen happens to people who try to do this business completely on their own? Or at least why? How do they even get to that level? Why do they isolate themselves? What is the core issue and how can they get out of it?
I think we talked about this before, that it's an industry thing, right? And everyone in the industry is taught to get your license, go out there, go for it. You're on your own, right? It's a solopreneur job. It really is. Even all the realtors, all the mortgage broker, we really are on our own. There is no mentorship. There's nobody out there to support you to say, hey, you're doing this wrong. You're distracted. You need to focus on this. None of that stuff, right? While you think your numbers are improving, you think you're doing good, you think you're doing better, but in reality, you're not. Because why? You're stuck in this forever ending feedback loop, I call it. Oh, you're doing good. You got business, keep going. And you are stuck at it. Like when you say hardworking, I don't know what the definition of hardworking is, after working.
Well, I was working 14-hour days,
yeah,
7 days a week.
Yeah. How much harder can you work? Right? I was literally out 7 days a week. If there was 8 days, I would be out there 8 days a week. And I had 2 hours a day to spend with my family. A lot of times growing when my kid was growing up, my daughter was growing up, I don't even see them. And it's like a flashback to when I was growing up. I never saw my dad. One day a week I saw him, right? And I was doing the exact same thing, not realizing it. So working harder isn't working, but I don't realize that because I'm stuck inside, right? There's nobody to give me feedback loop to say, hey, you're not where you want to be. You're not where you started when you had come into this industry. You had your vision, you had to go up here, but you are here somewhere now, right?
So is this the curse of the mortgage or the financial, real estate industry? Like, is it the curse?
Yes, it is. It is. It surely is a curse of the mortgage industry because we don't have leadership, right? You just on your own.
Mm-hmm.
There is no real training. I mean, other than what you got in the book, and it doesn't show you how to get clients. It doesn't, teach you how to help with objections with the clients, help you with figuring out which is the best lender to go. Like absolutely zero mentorship. Everyone is a lone wolf. You are on your own.
Yeah.
There's nobody telling you, hey, go do this, go do that. It's like try everything.
Does it also attract a certain type of personality?
Nobody knows you.
Does it attract a certain type of personality, like maybe more introverts for the mortgage broker side, like we're talking about
pretty
before,
much,
and maybe like extroverts for the real estate side,
Yeah, if you like people, you like to deal with people, you probably can end up being a realtor. But if you're a little more a numbers person, analytical, you become a mortgage broker, like I did.
So inherently, we already then want to be more isolated and don't trust other people.
Even worse,
right?
Yes, yeah. This industry doesn't support group hive, a group mind. It's not it's not incentivized that way.
Yeah.
You're on your own. Like everybody's, it's a greedy industry. It's a profiteering industry. It's dealing with money. What do you expect, right?
Mm.
At the end of the day, you can make a lot of money. But one thing that I start to realize, is that I did I did great on my money side. Finance was strong, but my family life was suffering and my health was definitely suffering. But I didn't realize that until one day my brothers asked me to go for a jog. Let's go for a couple hundred meters, go for a one kilometer jog. So I could make 150 meters. 150 meters, like literally two telephone poles I had to run. My knees was buggering. My knees was just harsh, and I was in my 40s, right?
Yeah.
But that's it. Nobody to coach you, nobody to mentor you. You don't know that you're in a nosedive in your business. I was working hard, but my life wasn't.
Yeah. And we,
Right?
I think many of us brokers, we make money, but we don't really have like a system to grow and scale. Like there's no scalability. Nobody has ever taught us how to do it. We don't know what we don't know, and there's no long-term growth, right? Like it's always good in the first years. Anyone who's watching this, you can agree and let us know in the comments. It's exciting when you get your license, you start getting your first few deals, money starts coming in. It's all good at first, right? But then after a while, it becomes very mundane, and then you reach a certain ceiling, and then it's not all about what I realized. So was it's not all about me. Like I can't do everything myself. I can't do all the underwriting and do like checking. I only have 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. I don't have 25 hours. I don't have 8 days in a week, right? So
Yep.
I maxed out as well, and then it became very mundane. Like I lost the passion of why.
Yeah, you don't have to excite. Yeah, there's no longer excitement, no longer the challenge that we had, no longer the um, the daily life becomes a routine
Yeah,
and becomes like a job. I call it just over
yeah.
broke,
We own our
right?
own job. We own our own job. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
they call it,
pretty much.
self-employed, I guess, right? Self-employed.
Yeah, self-employed. Um, to come to think of it, it's not a to come to a point in time if the other parts of your life is suffering, you're not building the life that you want, right? So no matter how much money I was making close to $500,000, and for myself and one assistant, it's like I'm still topped up. I'm still basically solopreneur at that time. Still, one assistant is still not a team, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
To offload some stuff, but the minute you start to thinking like, hey, if I had five of me, start thinking like a team, how much my life would be better, how much I could have available for my daughter, for my family. But we never got around to thinking of that because we're too busy,
Yeah.
right? No
And do you
coaching. No,
so do you also
right?
think like sometimes some of us might also be afraid of success? Like, oh, I don't want to grow and scale a team because then now I'm responsible for their pay or their and now I don't have the freedom to just do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do. And so it becomes like this double-edged sword, like the curse, right? We want to grow, but then we kind of just stay stuck in like, oh, maybe I don't rock the boat. I'm already comfortable right now. I know everything so far.
That is a tragic. I mean, when you touched it on earlier, is the curse of our industry is that we don't know what we don't know because we haven't got to that point yet,
Yeah.
right? We haven't had somebody who makes seven, eight figures come down and on our level, sat down and say, "Hey, Desmond, is this what you wanted? Is this what you intended to do when you first started 10 years ago?"
Hmm.
Now, I realized this when I was doing coaching for 10 years, and I look back, and then when I got into personal development coaching, I have mentors. Finally, I accepted to grab mentors because I know that I'm stuck and I don't know how to get to the next level. And I paid
You
big
probably didn't
dollars,
even know.
six.
Yeah, you didn't even know what was bugging you, right? At that time, like when you first,
No,
you just like
yeah,
uncomfortable feeling, but you couldn't put your finger on it. Couldn't figure out
yeah,
why you don't feel satisfied.
yeah, because subconsciously we know, but because that's not apparent to us, right? And we don't know why we got stuck there either, and why we're not happy now. Like I'm happy to get into finance because I want to make a difference in other people's life. I want to be able to have a big impact on the biggest decision in the life that I ever make. Debt is a big thing. Mortgage is a humongous debt, 10 times the amount of the car, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, is that if you're feeling stuck, you know how you know you're stuck? You're just getting by.
Mm.
Next year is the same as last year, right? And that means one thing: you are not happy inside. You are not where you wanted to be. That there was a saying somebody told me that one day, really woke me up. It's like you got all the way here, you got this far, only to be this far.
Mm. Only to be this far. Yeah. You got this far
And
only
I
to
was
be.
like, what do you mean? Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I have so much further to go, but I not realize it because I'm stuck where I'm at right now. And I'm stuck, not realizing where I'm stuck at because I don't have anybody to bounce ideas off, nobody to push me, nobody to say, hey, let's get going. What are you doing here? Right? Why
Yeah.
are you wasting time here? You should be doing this here. You should be leaving that just to that delegate that stuff to your staff, to your
Yeah.
administrative team, right? Because when you're a solopreneur, it's not that your fear of success, right? And it's not a fear of failure because you've done it. I think what we're afraid of is losing control.
Mm.
We want to be in control of everything, micromanage everything to the point where nobody wants to work with you.
Yeah. It's a lack of trust
And
ultimately, right? The core of it is like a lack of trust.
that's it. That's it. We don't trust others. And you know what's also the deadliest part is we don't trust ourselves.
Hmm.
Right? Meaning that I don't trust my ability to hire somebody who can take on that and not F it up.
Yeah.
Right? So that's just the reason why, we created this. We created this tribe, commercial for financing mastery. It's
Yeah.
not just to teach about commercial. It's just to be there to support them on their growth,
Yeah.
to show them, slap them around, give them some tough love. That's like, hey, this is not going to work. I've been down that road. You're going down the wrong way. Come back this way,
Yeah. I
right?
mean, when we met Sua in Vietnam and we were, like the proverbial napkin on the coffee table or at a cafe, and Con Cafe, I remember, and we were talking
Yep.
about this, and you had asked me about my experiences as well too, and really it landed so at home because I was like, there in this industry there is none of this YPO EO type organization, and why
Nope.
those organizations are so helpful was because it created accountability. So let me ask you, you're in a mortgage, even if you're at a brokerage firm, you work for, like, is there really any sort of like monthly check-in, any sort of accountability? No BS, let's just pure numbers. And is there also a collaborative spirit? If not, then this is the reason why you should probably be interested in, Sua, put together CFM, Commercial Financing Mastery, as a cohort to create that atmosphere for mortgage brokers, to create that atmosphere for real estate investors, to create that atmosphere for CPAs, to create that atmosphere for real estate, agents that want to get into the commercial financing space, but would like to be around other like-minded individuals who are producing results, but will also brave enough to be vulnerable when we don't know something and to be able to ask and then have a
Yeah.
mentor, or
Have a safe
mentor.
environment. Yeah, I what I wanted to do was to create a safe environment where there's no stupid question. I truly believe that we have 1,000, stupid questions. The more stupid question we ask, the less we go down that list. The less we have to ask that again.
Yeah.
Right? So as a result, we get better. We get better and better. And from people being around successful people, it rubs off. You know, you either you either show up or you just disappear. Find something else. Leave the industry. Don't just be a straggler. We're in here to grow. Like if you're not growing, you're dying, is what I hear often.
Yeah.
And I agree. If you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah. 100%.
Not by
Well,
numbers,
you
but I
touched
mean,
on, it, so right, the proverbial phrase again that goes, you become the product of the five people you surround yourself with. And I know with the modern day and age, with AI and with books and many things like that, maybe it's not the physical person to person relationships, though that is the number one thing that you honestly you need to look in the mirror and be very honest with yourself. You know, look at all the relationships at your brokerage, at your office. Are they all just shallow? Is everyone secretly like, trying to stab each other in the back? Or do you have meaningful relationships, collaborative relationships with others, with your lenders, with your brokers, with your agents, with your lawyers, with your CPAs? Do you have that? And if not, why not? And if you'd like to
Yeah.
learn more about that, we'll post an email or a link or some instructions. The cohort is closed off right now. It's a waiting list because these are very exclusive cohorts where it's 8 to 10 members that get together and everything's laid out. We all work together. We close deals together with Sua leading as the mentor, and you can bring actual deals. Even if you've never closed your first commercial deal, you can bring it over 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. We work together, and then 12 months even after we graduate, Sua helps us to close our first commercial deal. So if you're interested, go and click around somewhere around here. Don't forget to subscribe to the video. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.